Hello everyone, it's Dr. Sam. I'd like to welcome you to my EyeClarity podcast. This is a show that offers cutting-edge information on how to improve your vision and overall wellness through holistic methods. I so appreciate you spending part of your day with me. If you have questions, you can send them to hello@drsamberne.com. Now, to the latest EyeClarity episode. Hey everybody, it's Dr. Sam, and I'd like to welcome you to another EyeClarity podcast. So today I'm going to take a question from a listener, and she wants to know if there's a relationship between osteoporosis and vision. Well, this is a great question because in my somatic training, I learned that bone health is related to so many things in our body. And before I get to the vision question, one of the fascinating things that I learned when I studied a modality called continuum movement, my teacher and mentor, Emily Conrad, she told me that in continuum movement, because part of the modality is using sound, as we make certain spiral and wave and pulsating movements, that sound is one of the best ways to increase bone health. And she mentioned that she had a number of people in her studio that were suffering osteoporosis and osteoarthritis. And their history is that as children, they were told to keep quiet, don't speak, speak in a monotone. And the voice is such a resonator for our bones that if we have a very narrow range in our voice capability, or we have a tendency to just be very inwardized and introverted, that this eventually can cause a weakness in the bones. And we also know that in bone health, of course, we talk about the relationship between our ability to have weight-bearing exercise and how that stress, whether it's lifting weights or doing functional fitness, that's also another very important factor in keeping your bones healthy. But this connection between the eyes and osteoporosis is not really talked about very much, even though I've seen it in my practice for a long time. And there was a study that was put out in one of the medical journals, and I will include the link. And they asked this very question: what's the relationship between osteoporosis and dry eye syndrome? And in the article, they actually discussed that there is a very strong relationship, especially with women who have osteoporosis, that they also suffer dry eye syndrome. And in this particular study that the researchers looked at, and of course they were, looking at the decrease in bone mass, they were also seeing this visual disturbance of dry eye syndrome, and it was across the board in terms of vision issues. And we know, wow, in my practice and in my community, I get these questions all the time. I have meibomian gland dysfunction. I have blepharitis. These are eyelid issues. And the eyelid is very important in the ability to produce the proper tear function that covers the cornea, and either we're not producing the right kind of tears or the tears evaporate way too quickly. And there have been other, correlates between dry eye syndrome and low fats and oils in the body, dry eye syndrome and low or high estrogen levels in the body. We can even bring in some of the autoimmune diseases like Sjogren's disease, where I've done a podcast on Sjogren's, and that's an autoimmune disease that also affects our dry eye. But the conclusion of the article is as follows. Osteoporosis is associated with the increased risk of developing dry eye syndrome, which causes blurred vision, and this also can increase one's balance issues and have a higher incidence of falling and fracturing, especially in the elder population. So to answer the question, yes, there is a correlation on an eye level between osteoporosis and our ability to produce proper tears in the eye to cover the cornea. And there could be a hormonal component, there could be a biochemistry component. Another one that isn't talked about very much is blue light. And when we sit in front of a screen all day and we're bombarded by blue light, the really fast frequency of blue light, it has an effect that dries us out as well. Coupled with stress, visual stress, higher cortisol levels, low thyroid levels, and we can write a book on what are some of the causes of dry eye and osteoporosis. So just really briefly, if you've got dry eye syndrome, it's important to hydrate your eyes regularly during the day. I call it a loading dose, and you want to use natural eye drops if you can. You can use Oasis artificial tears. You can use Optique homeopathic eye drops. You can use MSM eye drops. And I would use those 3 to 4 to 5 times a day. Those work really well. In the evening, you might consider either an Eye Bright compress or a castor oil eye massage on the eyelids. Obviously, during the day, you want to wear your blue blockers. You want to make sure you're getting at least 2,000 milligrams a day of omega-3 fatty acids. I like to add annatto vitamin E. It's a form of vitamin E that is very potent for improving your eyes and vision. You can also include things like saffron, a very powerful antioxidant. And then, of course, obviously, your vitamin A, make sure you're getting enough zinc. If you're having difficulty absorbing vitamin A, then add your bile salts. And then, of course, things like lutein, zeaxanthin, astaxanthin, and bilberry, ginkgo, so things that improve the vascular circulation of the eyes, protect the eyes from the damaging blue light, and just nourish your eyes with antioxidants. So, yes, there is that connection. I appreciate the question, and I wish you the best of luck in your health journey. So that's our show for today. I want to thank you so much for tuning in. Until next time, take good care. Thank you for listening. I hope you learned something from the EyeClarity podcast show today. If you enjoyed the episode, make sure to subscribe on iTunes or Spotify and leave a review. See you here next time.